Hey, welcome to Web3 Weekly with your host, Blockstar Technology.
Let's go.
I got real size Nathan running around. Oh. Hi everyone, welcome to episode 55 on Web3 Weekly. So today's podcast is joined with me, my good guy Charlie and Nathan. So thank you everyone. So today we're going to talk about in a Web3 company, how do we
Biggest challenges.
biggest challenges, right? All of us know in this space we are going through some challenging times, and we've been tested every single day. So, and this is like, so we thought it would be a really good time to bring this up and have a chat, Charlie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've got some questions here, which I'll fire at you, Cozzy, and you can fire at me. I'll join
All
in
right.
as we go along.
Sounds good.
And that'll be our first question from the marvelous Nathan, featuring ChatGPT, maybe.
Yes.
Is how can Web3 companies navigate regulatory uncertainty in the industry?
Wow.
That's a big starter, isn't it?
That's a huge starter. Okay. So, I think it depends on the company, right? It depends on the company. Now, if we are in a Web3 startup space, but if you are building a asset-based Web3 business,
Yeah.
whether it's NFTs for investment or tokens, or I don't know, real-world assets. As we are already in that, talking about it, in the last few days and weeks.
Becoming more popular and popular. That
Exactly right. We are hearing a lot of that now. So in that case, yes, you had to be careful with everything what's going on. You can't be careful per se, but I think you have to seek you have to seek good advice.
Yeah.
That's what it is. And the regulation is not there. And I think given the space, I have a feeling regulation will always lag behind.
Yeah. Well, it's growing so fast, and new technology and use cases are coming out all the time. So it's hard for regulators,
isn't it?
to keep up.
Yeah.
And also, us being as a development team, like the development team of Tornado Cash, getting themselves into hot water and
That's a good one, yeah.
going through court cases. So it's on all sides of the spectrum, whether you're a product, if it's offering NFTs, DAO, whatever that may be, to real world assets, to DeFi, and also privacy. And as we've seen with Tornado Cash, the government agencies come after the developers themselves, which I believe that court case is still going through. So they've been...
But he hasn't been charged yet.
He hasn't been charged yet. I thought he got arrested.
Arrested, but not charged.
Yes.
And just like,
Yeah, so you've always got to do DYOR when it comes to building your Web3 company or your Web3 product, and being a developer as well, which we do a lot here in Blockstars. We don't take on every project. We scope out the project and see if it's a fit for us, and if we're ethically it's developable by us and our morals within the company, our culture.
That's right.
But yeah, it is a hard one because even in Australia, there's no set guideline as yet. So I would say if you're in Web3, jump in. There's the new proposal going forth with Parliament, and it's better to get your voice and your input in before other people do, and you don't like it, it'll be too late.
Yep. Yeah. 100%. And I think that's a good one I supposed to bring up is that like Uniswap 4, the version 4
V4?
of the protocol. Yeah.
Yep.
Now they need KYC.
Here. I've heard a little bit about that. I haven't got into it too much. I'll stay on V2.
Yeah. So, and in fact, why are you doing that KYC? I feel like again they want to get on this regulatory because they know the regulation going to come after them.
Yep.
With even though it's a DeFi, like a decentralized finance platform, still they will be challenged for that. So
and that's actually how how Binance started. It wasn't a decentralized exchange, but when Binance first started, to avoid the regulations and KYC, is there was a need in the market back then in 2017 along that bull run. Is people were cautious about what tokens they were listing, where Binance seen a problem in the market and actually only allowed crypto deposits. So you could only deposit your Bitcoin or Ethereum. You had no fiat on ramp. And that's how they were able to list so many tokens. And at that stage, I think that was 17, 18, people were paying up to, because they got bombarded so much and become so popular, you could sell your Binance account for about 20,000 US dollars.
Man, I did not know that.
If you had set it up early enough,
And I went and did my KYC.
Yeah, and then that was a good boost for Binance, and they kept building, and then they come and met into the regulations to allow people to upload fiat. Before 2020, which they're still going through issues now with stuff going on, but that's another story. And I think a lot of people, like the big companies, big exchanges and stuff, they hire certain people from certain industries that have got a good network. They hire good compliance teams these days, more so on the exchanges, and they also have good software which has come about. So speak to a professional and find out what those requirements are. And if you can't get them straight away, definitely have them in your roadmap to build. Some things you need from day one, some things you can afford to bring in a little bit later on down the track. But you got to be aware of it before it's too late. Yeah. With that one, that now takes us to how can Web3 companies attract and retain skilled talent? So we have a lot of problems with say not the retaining, but I think of the businesses keeping their workforce, because as we've seen in a bull run, they need to scale up fast. They need to have people there. But unfortunately, when that bull run slows down, you see mainly exchanges laying a lot of people off, not so much in other sectors of crypto. How do you think about that one, Kosi? To attract and retain skilled talent.
I mean, in the Web3, it is a challenge, because it's you have to, whether we like it or not, the market will contract and expand in very, very short cycles. And if you build a company based on the market cycles, every 4 years, right, you're going to expand and you're going to contract, implode and expand. So it's not going to work if you build your business around market trends. So here we are great believers in building a business based on people. People, culture, results. So the result is what you get at the end. But we hired well, and we hired good people, and it helped us so far. And I know that's going to help us all the way to the future, where companies who, and you had to also understand some companies, like, for example, exchanges. If they don't hire people, guess what? The security and to keep up with the demand, they have no choice. In some cases, they have to bring in more skilled people now. And then that goes on, and when the market suddenly drop, I mean, like, for me, this drop, I feel like it's not a natural or something like that. I feel like this is like, purely because of Luna, and then after FTX, and the few hacks happened. I think it was the perfect storm that brought that thing down so fast. And big organizations like exchanges, that change was so sudden for them to keep their people, and they had to seek alternative ways. And that's part of the reasons why. But if you build based on people, and in a more structured manner, and I would say majority of the time you'll be able to see through the process. And and to keep your talent. I think the challenge is to keep and retain talent, right?
Talent. Yep.
So the retained talent, you have to give more than money. Sometimes it's not the money, right? It's the opportunity, it's the skills, it's the environment, culture, teammates, support. It's all that, and money is just one part of that. Just like like everything else, sometimes too much of one thing, a good thing, is not good at the end. And I think if you can package that, um, to your team, to your people, and they do stick around. They do stick around, and you know, I don't want to say it, but in Blockstars, it's proven.
Yep.
People are here. They want to achieve bigger things, and if you provide the opportunity, this give them the environment, you are going to. But if you hired because of the market trends, unfortunately or fortunately, you had to pay the top dollar. And when the market suddenly changed, like in Web3, like weather, right? Boom! What? It's like the Melbourne weather
Even Web 2 during COVID times,
during
it's
COVID
happened.
times.
It's not just
Exactly. So sometimes when those black swan events happens, those companies are not built for that. And when that happens, yeah, these things happen. So, but I think providing an environment and the whole package, I think that's what makes people, if you want to retain top talent.
yeah, yeah. And just touching base on that with the people, culture, skills is it's getting those people and training them up, like getting the good people, having a good culture office with you can have one bad egg person, one negative person, and it can make everyone else feel uneasy, and whatever workplace that might be. But if you get the good people, you build the culture within the office, the work group, and then you can always upskill people. Like a lot of our people had a passion for Web3 and were
Huge.
interested,
Yeah.
but in their jobs they'd come from like development, Web2 development backgrounds,
Or mainframe.
mainframes, yep, or they'd come from law,
Yeah.
legal law, not blockchain type.
Or trade.
Some had come from construction,
From construction, yeah.
like myself. And getting that, they've got a passion for it. So always give people a shot and be willing to train people up, especially with Web3. It's very, very niche, very early. It's like because much in the 2000s, the dot-com boom. Before then, was there many developers really around? Well, compared to this day and age, like
Yeah, I mean, they were developers. They were like all bedroom developers, right? They didn't have the skills, no certifications. Everyone just learned by themselves. And same thing in the Web3. Like 2 years ago, when you're looking for developers, like smart contract developers, there were hardly any.
yeah,
Like none, almost,
find
right?
them.
So we
Yep.
just had to bring them in, train them up, and look where they are now. So
Yep. No, couldn't agree more.
Hey,
And
have you seen Nathan's like this muscle? Like,
anybody
tell you what, he's been working out.
Anybody would think he's been in Thailand
He's
on
been-
the trail on the weekends.
He's boxing, right? Boxing. Sorry.
And then
Triceps.
retaining skill, that comes into it as well. If you've got a good office, you treat your people right, always willing to help them learn. You do retain people. It's not always about the money, as you said, Kelsey. And besides Nathan's
Tricep.
Nathan's guns.
Seriously, Nathan, what do you do? Like, do you go boxing every day, right?
Every day.
Every day boxing. I
Every
mean, this is
day.
what it is, right? I mean, it's just every day turning up and doing what's needed. I mean,
Except for when we've got industry events, Nathan.
Yeah.
apart from the
But
meetup.
I still can't give him carbs. He just refuses the carbs lately. So I don't know. The Tika, mate. Tika a day keeps me at bay. All right. How can Web3 companies innovate in a rapidly changing space? I think innovation comes daily in this industry. Like if you're not innovating, you're doing something wrong.
Yeah.
You're doing something wrong.
Yeah, I mean, like, look, saying that some people and companies who are not used to that, like some companies get used to it early days when they start, right? The founders, they'll be working from their bedroom and then working to the middle of the night and constantly evolving in that space. But if you don't keep up that passion, that hunger to innovate constantly after 3 years or during the bear markets or when things slows down, guess what? You're going to go, if you're not moving forward, you're going backwards. You're not going to go physically backwards, but people around you are going to go forward, right? So innovation is huge. Innovation doesn't mean that you're going to invent something brand new per se, but it could be you are reinventing the wheel. It's your wheel. You might put some spinners or something. I don't know. Is it even a word?
The spinner rim.
Right. Yeah. So so it doesn't have to be okay, let me invent the wheel. No, it's been no. You can put spinners or spokes or whatever it is. You can create your own, right? There was a advert done by MasterCard, I believe. MasterCard or Amex. I think it's MasterCard. That people travel around the world and when they arrive in Ireland, they say like, I discovered Ireland, right? And it almost like it's they are the one who's discovering it. So it's an innovation for them.
Yes.
Right? And if you treat like that, oh, I'm doing this and it's innovating, it's learning and not being scared to fail, and not have the ego of like, oh, if I fail, people are going to, this is what they're going to think about me, and I think it's living for others' validation, then you are not going to survive in this space, because failure is just huge part of this space. So I think be humble, not have the ego, and you don't have to be the smartest person, but if you have the passion, like you said, and you can stay in the space. And I know there are quite a few builders or people who are innovating, who are building they do their Web2 job during daytime, and in the evening they are doing their Web3 thing. So if you have the passion, you can stick to it.
Yeah, and I think that's critical, even like blockchain, but emerging technologies, like with us trying to keep up with innovations in Web3 tech that are going on. It has slowed down a bit, but there is still a lot of people building in the quiets at the moment.
But then there's AI.
Well, that's where I was about to get to. And then you've got the AI sector of just trying to keep up between blockchain and AI. that is emerging tech just growing like no tomorrow. Like the changes in there, and it comes like as again coming back with the team and upskilling, and we all share. We all share our findings. We've got our groups and our work communications, and not everyone knows something, not everybody comes across something, but we share it between ourselves, and someone's like, oh, hey, I didn't know that, and sharing of information is vital.
Best way to learn. Best way to learn is if you share what you learn, you can learn more. If you learn something and you keep it yourself, I don't think you get the benefit, otherwise you're leaving dollars on the table. That's why I feel like if you're not sharing your ideas, your knowledge, the more you share, there'll be smarter people than you, right? There's always is.
There's always someone smarter. There's 100%. Always someone tougher.
Always, right? Always. And I'm just looking at Nathan. Sorry. Right. And but you can't stop sharing just because there are smart people out there or tough people. You're not going to stop boxing, are you, Nathan? Nah. Exactly, right? So, and I think actually that boxing is the ultimate game. Like people, because there are two people, that one person going to get bashed like really bad in front of everyone else, right? One person would, right? But they're not going to stop boxing. They still go, right? They still challenge.
They still go train. They still go
and
back.
It's the public on stage, right?
Yep.
And I think that's a mentality that if you bring that type of mentality into what you're doing here in the Web3, because it's such a new sector, and I think I even forgot the question now.
I don't know, but that was a good metaphor because it nailed it nice. I did like it.
Nathan is my inspiration today.
Nathan's inspiring everyone in and outside the ring.
Yeah.
All right. what are some new challenges that Web3 startup companies are facing in 2023?
New challenges, I would say definitely regulation, right?
Yep.
2022 didn't have the regulation. We had the bull markets, and it was all right. And then I think the challenges came with what happened with the FTX and Luna. This and good mate Gary,
Mr.
Mr.
Gensler.
GG, right? Really brought this to front of mind to everyone, and regulation is the biggest challenge for a lot of companies. Now if you're a company that's holding assets, you have to get license, and there's so much of things happening now, and I think that's what the biggest challenge I see from.
Yeah, well, CBDCs will fix that for us, won't it? For better or worse, we'll see. That'll push regulation like no tomorrow.
100%.
But yeah, also in the Web3 space, I hear a lot of the startup companies product companies, is the funding. The funding compared to,
what it was last
2020, 2021, 2022.
Yeah.
People were getting
VC
money
funding has
VC
dried up.
funding was throwing them left, right, and center, and that's gone a bit quiet. But I think it's gotten a bit tougher, more so.
More educated. The VCs got more educated.
The VCs got educated.
Yeah,
the VCs got educated, and things are slowing down. And you should still be trying. Like Ben from Collective Shift, he raised his money maybe 8 months ago, and he's got a good product. The people he went to, he had to go to many people to get it through and talk about. And if you got a good product, you believe in it, just go out and try.
And again, if you think about it, like when you come to VCs, there's a bit of a huge bull run. So people were rich in crypto. So they just went back with this crypto and invest in other projects. And with the whole bear market, especially the value come down, and now those people doesn't have anymore. The crypto value has gone down again, right? So they can't invest either. So we got the proper VCs, and you got the VCs who became VCs because of the crypto.
Yeah, or they've gotten into so many products, many companies, projects that they're sort of
and Lambos.
And Lambos, and the Lambos that now they're happy where they are sitting.
Yeah. They had to sell their Lambos.
Oh, they have to, they have to sell their Lambos.
Yeah.
Is Web3 a seasonal business?
Every 4 years, my friend.
Every 4 years.
It's not a quarterly season. I would say it's more like a 4-year season. And why is that, Charlie?
Because the Bitcoin halving is when the bull market historically has been happening around that time. Now, historically, that has happened. Doesn't mean that in the future, but the mining rewards get cut in half for everyone mining a block. Their rewards get cut in half, averaging every 4 years. And when you've got the same demand and a 50% cut in supply, you start having a run up of money. And then what I see with that is when there's a run up of money, that's when we get the news go in and going, oh, Bitcoin's up this much, Bitcoin's up this much. And everyone FOMO's in.
Yeah.
Once they hear that people making millions of dollars.
And they buy at the top. And then after the halving, it goes down, and they sell it at the bottom.
Yep. And they do. They get in, which maybe is the housing market at the moment in Australia. Is at the top. My wife keeps saying, we're about to miss out. We should get this house. And I'm like, oh, you sound like one of those people wanting to buy
getting on the crypto.
You're like one of those people buying Bitcoin at 60,000, babe. Yeah. She just shrugs me off.
Oh my god.
But it can be seasonal. Like even recently, like us at Blockstars, we had the memcoin bull run, little mini bull run of Pepe came out, and then there was like Turbo, and then there was Mong pumped again, and then there was a few others on that list, and people were just jumping in and out of memcoins left, right, and center, and we had quite a few calls on. Hey, can you do this for this memcoin? Oh, can you do this? And the memcoins come up. So it was a
and I think
little season.
Yeah. So I would say it's every in this space we are only one memcoin away.
We're only one memcoin away. Yep. I agree with you there, Cozzy. The Dogecoin is the prophecy. Once that starts pumping, get ready, guys.
And this is not financial advice, people.
No, not at all. Not at all. I did say when Dogecoin starts pumping, just get ready. That's all I stated.
Again, this is not financial advice. All right, Nathan, please stop fiddling me on your phone. All right.
Nathan, get me somewhere. How can Web3 startups market and sell their products and services? Ooh,
all right. Look, that's a big one, right? I would say, like, look, we are students when it comes to it, right? Blockstars are students when it comes to it because of this is not a traditional space that this is what it works. What you thought worked, probably that was probably 3 months ago, and the market changes, the people here change, the technology changes, the requirement changes. What was hot today, it would not be hot in 3 months, and people like already moved on. It's not as cool. You can't talk about that tech for so long.
TikTok gave us low retention rates.
That's it, right? 100%. And people just move on, like, okay, it's not cool anymore. Okay, like, okay, what have you guys done in the last, whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think, so the marketing has to happen almost like real-time marketing, and people move on. You can't just hang up on stuff like, what you had done in 4 months ago, 5 months ago, because people are like, okay, that's just, old news now. So how can you constantly keep creating those marketing moments? It's something that I don't know. I don't even know how to answer that question.
It's a hard one. It's Web3 is difficult. It's like, some projects you see really good products, building very well. Community's decent, and well, I don't know. They work, but if most people are looking at prices, like when it comes to say that product or what it may be, NFT, whatever.
But the Solana's been really good.
Yeah,
Solana community. I mean, give it to those guys.
They keep
going. They are sticking through.
They don't give up.
100%. They don't give up.
Cardano, they were going for years before the smart contracts
came
out.
I mean, yeah.
Good old Max in the office. He's a dedicated Cardano man.
Yeah, Max. Yeah,
but it's hard. It's hard, like how does Pepe get as big as it did so quick?
Yeah,
a lot of it comes maybe
greed.
maybe big influencer market.
Yeah, it's greed, right?
People wanting to jump in, and then you've got a world of products like Uniswap was very slow. Not many people were using Uniswap, and what would that have been, like 2019, 2020? And then everyone who used Uniswap and the network actually got airdropped the Uni tokens, and then next minute everybody wanted to be on Uniswap, and that worked for them by rewarding their true community, and there was a cut-off date on there. But the marketing side, it's a hard one because you can't, in Web3, it's not traditional marketing. You can't just pump out ads everywhere and have promoted tweets. It just, I normally, if I see a promoted tweet for like an NFT collection or something or a blockchain, I tend to stay away. Or if you see Paris Hilton tweeting about an NFT project or Logan Paul, I'm like, all right, I'm not touching this thing. But then I see something from crypto, the real crypto people, I'm like,
the OGs, you mean? Like
some of the OGs. I'm like, all right, I'm going to have a look at this. But how that spirals out of control,
it's a different thing altogether, right?
It's a flip of a coin. Is it going to? Is it going? Is it not going to? And
I mean, like we saw how that went down with quite a few players in the space, right? Like the recent is BitBoy.
Right? BitBoy. He's become even more popular. He's a bloody walking billboard,
isn't he? Right? He's trying to sell his apes and his Rolexes, and
after asking the community for money, which actually people did not get happy with that.
Yeah, but some people did get money. I mean, like I don't know why, but what I'm saying is like the marketing is very different. It's very opportunistic. The greed comes into it as well, but it's only I don't know. I was going to say like maybe it's only, but only a small like minority. But I don't know. I would be lying saying that. I'm not even saying that, but it all depends on based on the community. If it's a trading community, obviously there will be more transactional. But if it's a community like Nouns DAO, for example, I think that will be, I'm guessing, it will be more driven around community,
Tribalism.
yeah, tribalism over transactional. And
Flex statement.
yeah,
as
flex
well, like
as well. It's
Bored
like,
Ape. Bored Apes.
yeah, it's like a
They
brand,
might say they're
isn't it?
down, but the brand is
Yeah,
still
like crypto.
going.
Yeah, like punks again. Like again, that's brand. It's like, okay,
It's
the status,
the
flex.
status. Yeah, the Gucci.
Yeah, and I think
the Louis Vuitton.
yeah, and I think that those people like executed well when it comes to brand and marketing.
Web3 culture. They were like the essence of Web3 culture.
Yeah, they embrace the
yeah. Another one, Artifact.
Artifact is pretty
done
cool.
well
Yeah.
with Nike as well, big brands.
Mm.
And I think we're going to see a lot more big brands moving into this space. So
Yeah.
I see it changing. I do see, as you said, Cozy, what was hot in marketing, how to market, and you see a lot of it. One person takes off, does that marketing well. You have another 100 people following.
Just follow it. Yes.
Not long after,
Yes.
and then a little bit long after, and people,
and it just fizzles down.
Yeah. But I think with the big brands coming in, we got Louis Vuitton, the boxes. We've got Nike,
and they're also moving to the physical world, right? Where we did not see that. Now everyone just goes into the plush toys, and I think Gary Vee did that quite well.
Pudgy Penguins,
yeah.
V-Friends. So they're broadening their horizons.
Yeah, going into the more out of the Web3 world, the traditional platform. So
Now all they need to do is be able to get Gary Gensler out and bring in some legislation of being able to reward your holders for the toy sales.
Yeah.
And then that'll be good. Imagine that. That's like buying... I'm not going to say too much on that.
No,
but
well done. You don't dig yourself.
Yeah. I won't sing Pudgy Penguins. I like them. They've actually got... Pudgy Penguins have got some cool little videos. Have you seen their cool little videos even on TikTok?
Yeah, I see. They got like really good theme tunes and
little animation skits and stuff, which are quite funny. And that's another way that they're branding out.
Correct.
Out of just the Web3 system, because we are a small niche community, but in the way that Pudgy Penguins have gone about with the toys and the TikTok videos, and they're probably doing a lot more. I'm not fully aware of exactly what they're doing, but people are learning about it without even knowing it's Web3, where those some people you talk to, it's like, oh yeah, crypto or NFTs, and they just turn straight off.
Yes, that's right.
People walk into Walmart and see a cute little plush titty and, okay, I'm going to buy one of these. And they don't even know that background, but they can learn about it after the fact. So.
And then you see why all these like grown-ass men buying these plush toys.
Yeah. All right. On to the next question, Cozy. How can Web3 startups measure and track their success?
Okay, success comes in so many different ways, right? So for some people, success is having more community. For some people, success is maybe having whales, right? And for some people, success is maybe having more money or more brand. I think the success it can be defined in so many different ways.
Yep.
And especially in the Web3 space. In the Web2 space, I would say success will be two things. It will be brand or money. Okay, we are doing so well. We are, there's so much money, or we got like really good brand and doing well. We got like really good following and things like that. But what Web3 is like super tight, like it's like community driven, and it's like the NFT or tokens holders, because they can manipulate the markets if you have too many tokens, right? And so success can be defined in so many different ways, and I think it's a good thing, because given how the market moves, like outside of Web3, normally it's like 10-year cycles, right? You got your property cycles, you got your some share cycle or whatever that cycle is, about 10-year cycles.
Yep.
Now in crypto, it's like 4-year cycles. We see the cycles like constantly. I think I have gone through like 3 cycles myself. I think that's all I can count, right? So seeing gone through that fast, where if it's a 10-year cycle, you'd have gone in 10-year cycle, you'd have gone like 2 cycles of crypto cycles, and it gets in 20 years you have gone through almost 6.5 cycles.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So not 6, sorry. 20 years, so like just over 10, whatever, right? Actually 10, not 10. 5.
Yes.
My maths is like all over the place. 5 cycles. So and I think that makes the Web3 people a little bit more, I would say, more not brave, but more educated. So, and I think they're like, okay, they're going to say like, okay, we're having this so many cycles, so now we're in for the long term. So if you can build a community that understands these values and not panic every 4 years, and understand, okay, look, whatever goes down has to go up, apart from Luna and FTX. Whatever goes up has to come down, right? Once they understand those cycles and look for the long term, and Gary Vee says this so well, and he's building for the next 50 years, and he's already said that groundwork, so that the community is not going to, some people do jump up and down, but Gary said, okay, look, I already told you guys before you join it, I'm building this for the next 50, 60, 100 years, right? So people expect that, so they're like, okay, look, there's no point of me jumping up and down, and it's being executed over long term. And I think you can define your success in however you want, but given there are so many things, so many levers that you can use for success, that gives a way out for a lot of businesses and keep them going during times like this.
Yeah. And yeah, that's a good point you put there, Cozy, with the community, because we've seen a lot of Web 2 businesses coming into Web 3 on the marketing side to learn how these Web 3 businesses are building these gigantic communities, because the power of community
100%
is it's massive. It's everything.
It's huge,
everything,
because it's access to the founders, right? When can you go to a not Web 2, a mainstream brand, and go and talk to the CEO or someone in C-suite, for example, right? Compared to that, when you come to Web 3, they're only a DM away. You know what I mean? And they jump in and look at the access that you get to Gary Vee. You can through DM, through emails, and with doing live, and you got that access. And I think Web 3, I think that's what community wants. They want to be part of that journey, where in a real world business, you can't be part of that, because then you have to go to the proper employment contracts and all that. Where in Web 3, like, oh, I'm a community manager, for example, and they're happy to do that for sweat money, because they want to be part of it. Again, like community driven. So
no, it's a big one, and it's a hard one, because sometimes you can pull it off, sometimes you can't. Some people can do the same things, and I
sometimes
guess
you can get lucky.
I guess it's time, luck. Time and luck, and dedication,
and you can't wait for the luck. You just have to keep on failing, and there's one of those things going to hit, and off you go. And then
that's it.
It's like, oh, you got so lucky, and they
Numbers
don't see
game.
and they don't see all the hundreds of failures and the scars and everything else.
Who was that? I think it's Elon Musk. No one sees the failures before PayPal. He had a lot of failures before
100%.
PayPal, but everyone just remembers him. Oh, PayPal, like it was his first idea,
and just became like a superstar.
But you have a lot of failures beforehand. And then now, I was a bit worried about getting through Nathan's questions, but when I seen 2 pages, but it wasn't too much.
All right.
So I would guess, I will add some in here, Cozy, and you can add some questions and ask me some. Seems I've been questioning all day.
I'll ask you a question.
Wait. I'm going to forget it. It's not written down.
I'm older than you, and I'm going to forget faster.
All right, you go.
All right. So we're in the blockchain space, right? And I would say like now we call emerging, right, with the whole AI part as well.
Yep.
um, when you go and talk to people out there, when they see like our thing saying, "Oh, you guys are from,"
Superman
they
shirt.
say, yeah, they say like, "Oh, you guys are from Blockbusters," right?
Yeah.
They just see the block and S. Oh, you're from Blockbusters,
Blockbusters. Yeah,
right?
not the same colors.
Not the same colors, but that's how people think, right? And then it's like, "Oh, so what do you guys do?" It's like, "Oh, the block," and then okay, yeah, that makes sense, but what is that? What is it? Like, "Oh, we are not into blockchains or crypto," and I think people don't like, because they don't understand it. They put crypto is not a bad word, but they only, because of the media, they have given a bad name, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in a place like this, when you go out to a networking event, for example, how do you introduce yourself and don't come across as a, a, a sales bad salesperson who's trying to sell a Ponzi scheme? Because that's what people think, like blockchain, like, "Oh, you guys are, I don't want to know you."
Yeah, I
Just,
guess it's different for us because we're a software
yeah, but
development company.
that makes sense. But when you say like from blockchain, they don't know we are software company, right? So they
Yeah.
straight away think like, "Oh,
Yeah, I guess I don't try sell them anything. Don't tell them to buy Pepe.
yeah,
It's the biggest meme coin. It's gonna be bigger than Bitcoin. It's gonna change the world as people do. And I just answer questions. Just say, "Oh, blockchain, development," and then normally they'll ask questions. There's either two people. There's two people in the world. There's people that are interested and got a few questions, or people like in my friendship circle that just start looking sideways, like, "Oh yeah, blockchain."
oh, it's Charlie again."
Yeah, I don't want to know
Yeah.
know about this. Or like, it's a lot easier with us being in technology, the
Yes.
industry events that we attend. But then you go talk to like some tradies that aren't really into it, and they're just like, don't understand it, don't want to, like, don't got time for it. So okay, cool, that's cool. I'm not even going to try. But if someone's interested, I'm always happy to talk about it. That's the best thing about coming to Blockstars every day, is I get to talk with people that love talking about crypto, blockchain, technology. Where I guess it's that stigma of Bitcoin. And then also people don't know, like, depending on what industry we attend, different IT industry events
or non-IT events, like we go to like charity events, for example.
Non-IT ones. And you can mention AI. This Chat GPT it. That's the answer to everything, where it's not. You got to educate them there, but blockchain is always tied to Bitcoin, so it's a hard one. Not everybody's interested, but if someone's interested, always help out and educate them a bit more. And then also that blockchain is not crypto as well, which a lot of people don't know. Like,
they don't
we've
understand
been to many
exactly.
events, and we had a podcast a couple of weeks ago because we were talking it, and trying to let them know. No, there's been some ones where you've been up talking in front of a big group of people, and we thought they got it. I understood what you meant, but then you talk to them and they're like, "Oh yeah, but we can't do that because we'll need to have crypto on our books." It's like, no. That's totally not the case. Like, it's its own system.
That's right.
That's the public decentralized version, which gets all the news attention, gets all the hype. And then there's other really good use cases.
They don't see the light.
No one sees the light or understands, which there are some companies out there that are using it, like Walmart's a big one, IBM have it, Hyperledger Fabric is a big one. But you don't hear about those, those success stories of those businesses that sort of just working well for them in the background, and they're happy with that.
That's right. I mean, like when you other day I read about that JP Morgan and Barclays Bank, they did a tokenized a settlement on a blockchain that was developed by those guys, right? So, and MasterCard pushing for their own network as well, based on Ethereum, and to showcase like cross chain or interoperable transfers of assets as well. And guess what? The front end, people will start trading those things, but not realizing the back end. That's all at the moment. I don't know whether that's gone live yet, but this is what's happening in the back end, right? And people don't really care. Actually, they do care, but they don't really mind what technology that's being used as far as it gives them value, because that's what everyone wants. Like, they want it to be fast, they want to be secure, they want to make sure that their data is, no, actually, I just like that, because people want ease of use over
Ease of
privacy
use.
and security,
Yeah.
right? But until
Until it
security goes bad,
wrong. Until
right?
it goes wrong.
Until it goes wrong, and then people jump on it. Like, until then, it's like, okay, have your two-factor authentication. People don't want to have that. It's just a hassle, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I had to go and do this, I had to go and that. And there's always a happy medium, but that happy medium, that you have to be comfortable. Okay, if you are doing this, then you have to wear the risks, right? But as we know, as humans, when things goes bad, when you lose a lot of money, guess what? You're going to always go and look for that money, recover that money or whatever, and then you're going to go after people. But I would say, it's important for people, whatever the system that is. And Web3 is still clunky, a little bit clunky, but it's a lot better than 6 months ago or 12 months ago, right?
I was actually going to say something with CBDCs. That will most likely change, because it's been a decentralized network up until this point, as dangerous, positive as it may be. But I seen a study that just got released, a trial for one of the pilot projects, which was one of the universities, actually. And they were buying coffees through their MasterCard. It was a partnership with MasterCard, buying coffees with their CBDC currencies. And I was like, man, we've had this in crypto for like a year or two now. Like, they've just taken like crypto.com, like CoinSpot have got it, a crypto pre-debit card, and put it into a CBDC project. And I was like, oh, it's cool, it's a move forward, and it got some news and opened eyes. But I'm like, this technology's been around for a long time already. Well, not a long time, but a long time for us.
In Web3 space is a long time, given how young the space is.
Yeah, and the news is like big story on it. I think it was Channel 9, maybe. You can research that. And it was like this big innovation. But because those people, they're not in the Web3 space, have known about it. It is a different level of obviously a partnership and the government currency, but yeah. So I think as those things come along, payments, it'll start with payments, same as Bitcoin. Bitcoin started with payments, and then we will be finding interesting ways of smart contract into everyday life, like real world asset digitization.
Real world assets. Huge.
Which you've got a
webinar.
You've got a webinar coming up soon, Kosi,
and a presentation coming up as well. And it's these are the conversations that I feel like maybe our next iteration would be maybe the real world assets. I have a feeling maybe DeFi will come in a different way than
imagine a people's bank.
Yeah, people's bank.
Where you have a bank. But as you've got your money locked up in savings, that's providing loans for others.
Yeah. And I think people, I think that I have a feeling
we'll all be getting 12% of other people's credit cards.
Or it might be even less percentage.
Well, less percentages.
And a lot more wealth being distributed. It doesn't matter which country you are in, which socioeconomy, everyone can be part of this massive ecosystem. And I think that's the beauty of having this cryptocurrency, where people don't really see that. How can the people, because they don't know, right? They think like, oh, it's magic internet money. But they don't see how this could bring so much value to people. I think in the Western world, we don't really realize the value.
No.
But when you look at like sort of developing countries, they see so much value in this crypto. Because they have to go through the struggles of the no banks,
no ID.
No ID. Bank shuts down, and they decide, okay, they're going to take their money, and
which happened recently. And you only get you're insured up to 250,000, but
that's all. I think that's what the value the crypto space brings. And I have a feeling we're going to see a lot of that in the next 12 to 24 months. I have a feeling with the regulation coming on board as well, and the CBDC chats being happening as well, I think I have a feeling there's more like, okay, let's bring this whole financial aspect to crypto. And I think having CBDC will create a some sort of a worthy, what do you call, like what do you call it, like a superhero and a superhero and a villain. And I don't know, it depends on which side of the fence you are. If you are centralized, you'll see crypto as the villain and CBDCs as the hero. And if you are a decentralized person, you'll see crypto as the hero and CBDC as the villain. And it's a personal preference for people, and it will create those multiple, I think, parallel financial
gives
avenues.
people options at the same time, as long as the government allows us to get, well, the banks, I should say, allow us to keep buying crypto. I know they've been clamping down on that side lately. But it's like the pumpkin.
Yeah,
isn't it? Some people like pumpkin. Some people don't like pumpkin. It's not pumpkin's fault.
100%. All right, we have a question. Good one. All righty. So it says, what do you guys think about the idea of blockchain-based credit union? I can tell you, I don't have the knowledge to talk about credit union, so I don't know what to say. I wouldn't even pretend to know that subject. So what about you, Charlie?
What was that? What do you guys think about the idea of a blockchain-based credit union? So I guess what's the summary of a credit union? It's pretty much a bank, really, but it's slightly different.
I don't know.
terms.
I think well, Nathan, can you do a quick search on Google? Right?
And the difference between a bank and credit union.
And I think there'll be similarities. And he goes to Bard.
Straight to Bard, mate.
Yeah,
straight.
Good old Bard, hey.
But
until it comes back, let's
as
talk
we were
about
saying, decentralized bank, for instance. I'll start on banks because I know banks is. I have my savings in a bank, which is just a digital number. They get printed all the time. But I have my savings in the bank. The bank takes my savings and lends that to Cozy for whatever purpose, or takes all the rest of our savings in the bank and lends it. And they've also got fractionalized banking where they only need 10%, which...
Yeah, they only need 10%. I was going to say that.
That's a danger in them in itself, since it's been coming out with the credit being vastly available. Good, bad. We can grow a lot quicker. We've got a lot more credit, but then at the same
inflation
time,
and all that.
At the same time. But pretty much the bank in itself takes my savings money, Nathan's savings money, because he only eats healthy and goes to the gym. He does nothing else, so he's got a whole heap of money in his bank. and then they take our money and lend it to Cozy for whatever you may need it for, if that's on your credit card or that's on your personal loan. They give me, say, 3% interest, 2% interest per annum, where they're charging Cozy 12%, 13% per annum, depending on what loan you've got and what they've got as collateral from that loan. Personal loans are a lot higher. Home loans, they know they can always take your home. Car loans are in the middle because it's miss and they depreciate. But with that, they're taking that percentage in the middle. And a decentralized version actually already happens.
Yes.
So you've already got the decentralized versions. They're not classed as banks. You could call them decentralized banks, but they're not actually,
banks,
not actually a bank in itself. And I don't think they want to be because of licensing and requirements with that. With that is me and Nathan can put our money up as collateral, lock that up. Cozy can come in and borrow that money, and Cozy's paying 5% interest, so it levels down those interest repayments. Of course, there can be a better version of it because it happens within one block at the moment.
Yes,
or you can put your NFT up as collateral, so you can lock an NFT up as collateral, like the blue chip ones, the ones that hold their value a bit more. And then, because he pays 5% interest, me and Nathan get maybe 4.5%. And the platform and smart contracts that facilitate those transactions take 0.5 because they don't care. It's all automated through smart contracts. There's no admins, there's no paperwork, there's no documents. It's all automated through smart contracts, executable code, self-executing code. And with that, it's good. It's a good way of doing it. It's not classed as a bank or a credit union just as such.
Yep.
But the problem is with that is crypto assets are still volatile. So when we have tokenized assets, and because he can put his car up or a house for that loan, and also in the Web3 sector at the moment, you just need your wallet address, so there's no ID. But the moment where it integrates your ID and it's met with regulations, you can put your house and car up rather than, or your credit rating, rather than having to put up your Bored Ape that could drop $10,000 and you get liquidated and lose your $50,000 NFT for your $25,000 loan. So there's
because the market can be manipulated, right? With the NFTs, and then boom, next thing it goes up again, and then you liquidate the whole market.
But
overnight.
you're gone, and it executes itself, and they take the NFT, sell that, and pay me and Nathan back. But I think the best way for that would be a hybrid model where there is ID, there's more tokenized assets, there's more legal frameworks that make that legal. At the moment, it's not legal, so that's why it's run through smart contracts and such as NFTs, and, you can do it with your cryptocurrency, but with the cryptocurrency, you're going to pay that within the same block. I think there's a couple other ways. But I think it's that same thing. Those regulations have to catch up. The laws have to update so people can start building these platforms. And people want to build them.
100%.
People want to build them, but they can't yet because
of
the laws aren't clearly defined. So I hope that helps your answer, Edifax.
Actually, you were dancing around that. So banks are for profits, and credit unions are non for profit. So look, for a platform to be sustained, and people would want to earn something, right? But those profits will be minuscule, I think, so rather than charging exuberant and paying bankers bonuses, whether the market goes up or down, this way you are really, the bonuses goes to people who put their own cash on the line, and they'll be happy with the percentage that they get, and I think it would not be, where I stand, it won't be like none for profit, but there'll be a profit, but it'll be minuscule.
Yeah, minuscule. And I think even like with that search, Nathan, you pulled up, again, going off Google, with credit unions being non-for-profit, I think that wording is a lot like charities being not-for-profit, where they're not-for-profit, but 60-80% of the funds go into paying administration, CEO bonuses, whatever that may be, depending on the charity. But they may be not for profit, but the workers get paid, and also CEOs get high wages and those top of line, because I have to look into that credit unions, because I've heard of credit unions, but it's the same thing with building societies. Heritage Bank, I was with Heritage Bank. Felt like a bank, smelt like a bank. I called it a bank, but it's a building society. Credit union smells like a bank, looks like a bank.
And I think there'll be like
a bank.
And there will be those things. And hey, Kai Zander, hello.
Hey, Kai.
So and I think like you said, there's so much benefits of having crypto, but because of the few bad players in the market, and people love to get attracted to a negative headline.
Well, that's what all the
news is all about, right? And it it doesn't ruin it, but it put people back so far back, with the internet or whatever that is, comes back, and people are like, okay, I don't want this is like bad, but then ultimately technology will win, whether we like it or not. AI and Neuralink and CBDCs and all those things, they will come to fruition, right? It will happen. They're going to happen, whether we like it or not.
I seen something the other day. Like, there's always those funny stories, and I guess I was a bit young back then, and
like last
wasn't
week.
Really, yeah. A bit longer than that. But what was it? 1973. One of the head computer guys, computer hardware builders, said he doesn't see a need for more than 4 computers in the whole entire world.
Yep.
And he was at the cutting edge of building them. And then there's also what was the one with cell phones? Smartphones. Like, what's the need for them? I forget the exact one.
I don't know.
But then there's also like the internet. The internet's just a fad. Like, the internet's just a fad.
Yeah.
It'll die out. And what was that? I think it was Steve Jobs on. I'm thinking Jerry Springer, but I know it wasn't Jerry Springer. It was one of those other Saturday Night Live sort of deals in America, and he's saying, like, Steve Jobs, like, or Bill Gates, like,
Bill Gates.
You can listen to
online
to
radio
sport online. And he's like.
Yeah.
He pulls out, have you heard of a radio?
That's right.
And they all start laughing. Like, It's funny, but little do you know, like, what that is. I can listen to my radio whenever I want. I don't have to be on at the right time.
No.
And other people building software on top. So,
and I think that's what the blockchain will be. It's an ecosystem, right? And I think more than anything, I think Ethereum is a super ecosystem that you can build platforms, and that you're going to see a lot more of this innovation going to come and going to it's not what we see today. And people say, like, oh, this is bad because it doesn't have the throughput. It doesn't have, when I say throughput, it's like how many transactions can be completed in a second or in a minute. Like with Visa, you can pay like millions of transactions.
100,000 a second, isn't it?
I don't know. Probably more. People are comparing that to the blockchain, which is a cutting edge technology, which is still in its early stages, but being iterated super fast by very smart people. And that's what's going on at the moment. And we had to look at this as someone inventing money from what it was before our paper money, and now we're going to a digital money. So it's a big transition, and we are in a very special time that we are living in, right?
Yep. And even with that is crypto has been very decentralized. Not very big companies. Big companies have grown. But if you put that on the world stage, we're only just getting started. Governments are getting entertained. Once those legislations come in, and the big companies start creating their own EVM ecosystems, like they're all ground up projects, like all startups.
Yes.
What happens when you get the Amazons? Well, it depends if the government will let them do it. I know Facebook wanted to do something
and
like that,
and then it just got shut down. Yeah,
and they got shut down. But once Libra. Yep, that was the one. But once these industry heavyweights come in and build something very technical and working, and the laws are there, regulations are there, they have everything lined up, that'll be when some real changes happen.
Yeah.
But it's a trade-off letting a company have its own currency, which was
that's the problem that
Facebook's problem is
3 billion odd people, and they're going to manage a whole monetary system bigger than a nation, right?
Yeah.
And then because even though they created this consortium of I think 7 companies, the government was not keen to let them go and do it because
it's our money. You got to buy our money, not
right.
Facebook's money.
Yeah. Exactly, right.
Because Facebook had the community. They were very worried.
I mean, that's it. 3 billion people and globally, and it's a whole different country in itself, like Facebook. So,
yep.
We can talk a lot more about this stuff, but given we are now going over just at 1 hour mark, I think it's time to call it a day, Charlie.
Yeah. Back to the paperwork, Cozzy.
Back to the paperwork. And
back to the Web3 company. Web3 business.
That's it. So on that note, guys, thank you so much for joining us today. And thank you for the question that you sent. I think Nathan swapped the screen, so I forgot. Yeah.
Fix.
Yeah, Edifex Arts. Yeah. And thank you so much for the question. It's important that you guys ask us question, and we won't have all the answers, but we will definitely research and come back to you with those. And on that note, guys, thank you so much for all the social media platform people who join from all social media platforms, and we'll catch you next week.
See you next week, guys.
All right, see ya. Bye bye.
Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week. Same time, same place.
Subscribe.